You talk about the punch that Zeke had. Apparently, Ben Roethlisberger is coming into camp in the leanest he's ever been. At the age of 39 now, Big Ben trying to be the quarterback he was a few years ago. Does he have another playoff run in him? Here's the picture here, JJ. I mean, this is slim and trim. You talk about Zeke. I mean, what do you think about Ben here?
Listen, Brandon, I feel like every single year, like you can mark it on your calendar, it's the third-ish week of July. We're all looking at a photo of Ben Roethlisberger, or we're looking at a quote from Ben Roethlisberger and saying, you know what? He looks pretty trim. Looks good. Looks like he took care of himself this offseason. We say it every single year. But no, it's impressive, of course, that Ben Roethlisberger is still doing it here in his 19th season. And my expectations for Ben, honestly, though, they're not much higher than they were last season. This is a guy who, from snap to throw, it was 2.3 seconds, which was by far the lowest, or the quickest rather, in the NFL. By comparison's sake, Tom Brady, if Ben Roethlisberger was 2.3, Tom Brady was 2.57, which is really an eternity when you compare the two. We know how quickly Brady got rid of the ball. This is a team now led by Matt Canada on the offensive side as the coordinator, who he's going to implement a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, but you know, we haven't seen the sort of success from Ben Roethlisberger late in the season. We just saw there in the graphic how this was a team that started to fall apart late in the year. Of course, it was because they didn't try to establish the running game. We can talk all we want about how this is a passing league, but if you aren't going to be able to run the football, you're not going to win very many football games in December and January. You don't even have to worry about playing in February. And since the Steelers last played in February, Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers 3-6 in the playoffs. So if you're expecting some magical playoff run for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as it stands today, as we are entering training camp, it is hard for me to put the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by Ben Roethlisberger, ahead of the Cleveland Browns or the Baltimore Ravens.
We've got about a minute here, JJ. Before I let you go, you just talked about it, the run game. This is something that has to reappear this year. They drafted Najee Harris to kind of help in. You can't expect him to throw 40, 50 passes a game. The Steelers do enough to surround him at least with a run game this year.
You would hope so. He was, in some people's estimation, the best running back in the draft. I would say he was 1 or 2 in the draft. He's obviously going to give a boost to that offensive line, to that run game. But talking about the offensive line, they lost a lot. There was a lot of attrition. Alejandro Villanueva and Pouncey is obviously gone. They brought in Trey Turner. Zach Banner's back, a guy that they were interested in maybe extending before he got injured last season. So there's been a ton of turnover along that offensive line. And just to think that, okay, now you have a better running back. Now you're going to be able to run the football. Hey, I know you started so well last season. Maybe you'll go 16 or 17-0 this year. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. It's going to take some time for this offense, especially this offensive line, to gel.
They'll need that, of course, in their division and the AFC, the way it's been stacked up this offseason. As always, Jonathan Jones, appreciate your time for checking in. Pick Six Podcast, don't forget you can check it out. Will Brinson and the crew in the latest pod. Talk about the AFC South, kind of training camp burning questions. Can the Colts fix Carson Wentz? Will Urban Meyer kind of pan out there for Jacksonville? And how will Julio Jones be a weapon there for the Titans? Download to give those guys a follow and listen.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.